Hey, it's Sally Steele, and welcome to my show. This week's show is all about my crazy adventures in the Frank Sinatra Dressing Room at the Golden Nugget. It was at the Grand Funk Railroad show, and I'm also going to talk about the history of that band. Recent interviews was with Bruce Kulick, a former member of KISS. He invited me down to see him playing in Grand Funk Railroad, and I was all excited to go. Bruce told me I would have to go through the agency to do any filming or interviews, so I said that's okay. I'm just going to relax and watch the show. No media, no filming. But I couldn't help myself. When they started playing American Band, I raced down to the front of the stage and started filming. The drummer of Grand Funk, was the original writer and singer on the record of American Band, even though Mark Farner was the lead singer of the band. And I loved how patriotic the band was. Even played the national anthem with Don coming out and waving the American flag. That was cool. Famous for the song Some Kind of Wonderful.
She's British. Some kind of wonderful. Yes, she is. She's some kind of wonderful. She is. She's some kind of wonderful. Yeah. Take Max. Now when I hold her in my arms, she closes her eyes so long by. Ooh, baby, kissing me. My whole heart becomes so desire.
The song American Band told the story of a rock band that tore up hotel rooms with wild parties and partied with a groupie named Sweet Sweet Connie. Sweet Sweet Connie was doing her act. She had the whole show, and that's a natural fact. I interviewed Mark Farner backstage many years ago. I cannot find the video. But I asked him about Sweet Sweet Connie, and he told me that she became a school teacher. But I cannot remember anything Mark told me about the bitter split between him and Don Brewer. Now, there's been lawsuits and allegations and bitter feuding back and forth. Mark says in interviews that, well, Don quit the band, came into rehearsal and just let all of us go. And then Don said no, Mark quit and refused to go on tour. So the mystery rages on. But after the show, the adventure continued. So me and my friend Galen headed back to the Frank Sinatra Dressing Room. Now, the original Frank Sinatra Dressing Room was Frank's dressing room in the early 90s. And it always interested me because of its rich history. Okay, a tour of the original Frank Sinatra Dressing Room here in Las Vegas. Let's take a look.
She doesn't.
We met up with Bruce's wife, Lisa, who's just a doll, and Eric Singer and his girlfriend later joined us in the dressing room. Now, Eric Singer is the drummer of Kiss right now. And Eric has always been, well, a little aloof to me, like, hey, Eric, let's get a picture. And he's like, no, I don't want to get a picture. And, you know, just a little bit aloof. But he was really nice to me that night, but still a little sarcastic. He was like, aren't you Sally Metal, Sally Platinum, no, Sally Tin? And I'm like, no, I'm Sally Steele. But what I really wanted to say was, aren't you Eric Chris, as in Peter Chris? But no, I didn't want to cause any waves. Another funny thing that happened that night was Bruce came in and said, hey, one of the Raiders is here, and I'm not talking football, and he's looking for Mark Farner. And I'm like, Mark hasn't been with a band in 30 years. But which Raider? Is it Mark Lindsay? And he's like, no. And I go, oh, Phil Fang Volk. He lives here in town. So I went down to look for my buddy Fang, and I just breezed right into Max Carl's dressing room, which was open, and Fang introduced me to Max Carl and his new wife. Wow, that was fast. I asked Bruce to introduce me to Don Brewer, and he did, and I said to Don, oh, I'd really love to interview you someday, and Don just kind of walked away. I guess he was afraid I was going to interview him right then. But I saw him a few minutes later, and I asked for a photo with him, and man, he's still good looking. And as I promised Bruce, I wouldn't do extra filming or pictures, but when I was back there, I saw that Bruce had a bobblehead. I couldn't help myself. Is your bobblehead, Bruce?
It sure is. From Crazy Nights era, with a big amp stack behind it, and my radioactive suit and ready as feed. It's really cool.
All right. How long has that been out?
You know, on and off about a year and a half, but I haven't promoted it that much. But now I'm getting into letting people know they can get one on my website.
All right. I want one. Okay, awesome. Then Bruce and Eric started talking about music, so I stuck my phone in their faces.
Some different songs with the Les Paul. You
Yeah.
kept changing it?
Yeah.
And what was the Shining On thing, though?
That's the digital delay you heard.
But what was the doubler thing on the other song?
That would have been the digital
You
delay
said double
too.
or chord. No, it was a different sound.
And a chorus.
Double chorus. That sounded like two guys playing.
No, I get it, but
It
it's
was
just
sounding
a
great
chorus. It's
because your
straight
guy,
chorus.
he went,
Yeah, he went
he
stereo.
panned you stereo out in the house, and then he did panning. He did figure eights.
Did you have a acid experience?
Yeah, that was good. It was good. I'm a guitar head.
Yeah, he is. That's Eric Singer taking up my Frank Sinatra moment. Okay, take a picture.
And I followed Eric into the Frank Sinatra bathroom.
Next toilet.
I got it.
You look at Carmen.
I have to
They
see-
left it all worn out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I still have the one that Gene took of you
So
too.
the enamel is kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
This is Frank used to get blowjobs in here.
okay, lovely.
I didn't know that. And Eric was even nice enough to take a picture with me and Bruce. Thank you. But the Frank Sinatra room has always been a great place of adventure for me. I think I did my first interview in there with Mark and Dana from Slaughter.
Speaking of the past, did you ever talk to Vinny?
Never. We did our last show with him in '88 and never spoke to him again or wrote a letter. We did get his bankruptcy notices saying that he wasn't going to pay us. That was about it.
After that song you wrote,
Yeah, that was about it. Well, a few of them.
you got the last word. So
Yeah, pretty much.
We got a few.
Yeah.
Well, we're so happy that you're back in Vegas and still out
The
there.
greatest thing about our history was the Kiss tour itself propelling Slaughter into millions of records sold, which was all we dreamt of.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest thing was to work with a remnant offshoot of that group and end up being successful in the end, partially because of that group.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thankful to them, and it's just a wild story. Very few people could ever tell that story.
Indeed.
Well, we're proud of you and thanks for coming back to Vegas.
you.
And
Always great to be in
yeah,
Vegas.
Proud to be
yeah.
from Vegas.
All right.
And
We
in
were
Frank
in Vegas.
Sinatra's room. Here we go. Frankie's room.
We were in Vegas when it wasn't popular to be in Vegas.
Exactly.
I was also back there with Steven Adler of Guns N' Roses.
See, Stephen, this is Frank Sinatra's room.
This is Frank Sinatra's room. I have the privilege of having my backstage dressing room in Frank Sinatra's room.
All right.
Cheers, Frank. This one's for you.
Hey, you might have had done some damage in this room. I wonder if the furniture's the
There's
same.
no damage. Only love.
I mean,
Only
party.
love and respect. I did sit on his toilet.
Where was that?
It's right over there, and I did sit on it, and I did sit naked on it, so my ass touched Frank Sinatra's ass. In a way.
That's exciting.
In a way.
I'm going this way. Yeah, no, it's over here.
Shall we grab a guitar?
Frank Sinatra toilet.
That's the toilet right there. This took us.
Have you seen the famous
Yeah, right there.
Are you recording this?
No.
Toilet paper, and blow my nose.
Are you recording
Politely, I will say, excuse me.
They haven't even fixed it. It's still like
It's
the
still
same.
the same original toilet.
Wow.
It's never been touched since they put it there. I was ready to throw up before we went on stage. It's true, that's why they put it. He built it here. That's Sally, that's Harley, that's some singers.
Hi, say hello.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, Steve. Say
How you
hello.
Those
Okay,
two
AJ and Mike jamming, getting ready for the show.
I was back there with so many other artists. Vince Neil, Lita Ford, and so many other artists who have graced the dressing room of the board of directors himself, Mr. Sinatra. But at the end of the night, my questions remained. Was Sweet Sweet Connie Don's girl, or Mark's girl, or somebody else's girl? Why did they break up? Why don't they reunite? These burning questions will have to be answered in a future show, so stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in. We will be right here next week. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you on the streets of rock and roll.